Hey, welcome back. Today is the final day, day 69 of Purpose Driven Church for Unificationists. Hope you really enjoyed it so far, got a lot out of it. I know I have. I'll share more about that in tomorrow's final video, just some reflections and thoughts and action steps. But for today, we do have a few pages left. We're on the last chapter, chapter 20, God's Purpose for Your Church. So I'm going to go through that. It's basically some final words from Rick Warren. He says that he loves gardening. He thinks that one of the reasons he likes gardening is because he loves to see how different plants develop. He says no two plants grow in the same way, the same rate, or the same size. Each plant's growth pattern is unique, and the same is true for churches, and I think the same is true for people. God intends for your church to be unique. He uses the example of the Chinese bamboo tree. He says it's so amazing to him. You plant a bamboo sprout in the ground, and for 4 or 5 years, sometimes much longer, nothing happens. You water and fertilize, water and fertilize, water and fertilize, but you see no visible evidence that anything is happening, nothing. But about the 5th year, things change dramatically. In a 6-week period, the Chinese bamboo tree grows to be a staggering 90 feet tall. There's even a record that one bamboo plant can grow 3 feet in a single 24 period. It seems incredible, but it happens without fail with bamboo trees. He says, as I conclude this book, I want to offer you this final advice. Don't worry about the growth of your church. Focus on fulfilling the purposes of your church. Keep watering and fertilizing, cultivating and weeding and pruning. God will grow his church to the size he wants it, at the rate that's best for your situation. If you are building a ministry on God's eternal purpose, you cannot fail. It will prevail. Keep on doing what you know is right, even when you feel discouraged. Purpose-driven churches are led by purpose-driven leaders. So he's saying that, you need to find your purpose-driven purpose, your purpose in life. He says, as best as I can discern God's will, I have only 2 aspirations for my ministry: to be the pastor of one local church for my entire life, and to encourage other pastors. Pastoring a congregation of Christ followers is the greatest responsibility, the grandest privilege, the highest honor I can imagine. I've already stated that if I knew a more strategic way to invest my life, I would do it. Because I do not intend to waste my life. The task of bringing people to Christ and into membership in this family, developing them into mature disciples, empowering and equipping them for personal ministry, and sending them out to fulfill their mission is the greatest purpose on earth. I have no doubt that it is worth living for and dying for. He just emphasizes that in each generation there is a fresh purpose. He says, we can't serve God in any other generation except our own. Ministry must always be done in the context of the culture, current generation, and culture. We must minister to people in the culture as it really is, not in some past form that we may have idealized in our minds. We can benefit from the wisdom and experiences of great Christian leaders who lived before us, but we cannot preach and minister the way they did because we don't have the same culture. Being contemporary without compromising the truth has been our objective as Saddleback since we began. With every new generation, the rules change a little. If we always do what we've always done, we'll always be where we've always been. The past is behind us. We can only live in today and prepare for tomorrow. Successful ministry is building the church on the purposes of God in the power of the Holy Spirit and expecting the results from God. As I have studied growing churches over the years, I have discovered one great common denominator in every growing church, regardless of denomination or location: leadership that is not afraid to believe God. Growing churches are led by leaders who expect their congregations to grow. They are people of faith who believe the promises of God, even in discouraging times. This is the secret behind everything that has happened at Saddleback Church. Any church can come alive if we allow the Spirit to infuse us with a new sense of His purpose. This is what the purpose-driven church is all about. I pray that God will use you to fulfill His purposes in your generation. There is no greater use of your life. That's it. Thank you again for being with me during this journey. Tomorrow, I'd like to just share some final reflections, so I'll see you then.